What's up, everybody? My name is Mike, and welcome back to Redbuster Gaming, where today we're going to be talking about Cyberpunk 2077. Cyberpunk is a very odd game. It's one of those things where you either really love it or you really hate it right now, even with the way that it is. I'm playing it on a base-ass fat boy PS4, not a PS4 Pro, not a PS5, not a super tricked out pimpin' PC. I'm not playing it on Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Series S, none of that. None of that. And, is it playable? Yes, it's very playable. Does it look good? Fuck no. The textures don't load in half the time. Everything looks like a pixelated, blurred mess. But that doesn't stop it from being fun, and it doesn't stop the story from intriguing me. If I want to see what the game looks visually, I'll watch a streamer I know has the highest quality of machinery on hand, and that they'll produce that quality stream I want to see out of a Cyberpunk game in terms of visuals. I find that despite, the flaws of how it looks, I can stand it because I grew up with games that were pixels, for fuck's sake. So, watching Cyberpunk 2077 in this very low-res, not fully loaded, janky as fuck, Keanu Reeves' face looks like a goddamn Mr. Potato Head with, string attached for a beard. I can deal with this because, well, I'm used to it. The game audio, I've turned off copyrighted songs, but the game audio that they present, even be it the songs on the radio or the background score for the game itself during situations, is phenomenal. It's great. I love the music. The city itself is fun to navigate, but the cars handle like jank ass. They handle like slippery, wet, pregnant fish. It is disgustingly bad. And one of the things I cannot stand about driving in the game is that your minimap does not change. It stays small and zoomed in on your character no matter where you are or what you're doing or how fast you're going. It feels like they could have taken a clue from Grand Theft Auto and had the minimap expand outward as you're driving so you could see when that turn is coming up. So if you're gunning at 160 miles an hour down the road and there's suddenly, whoop, a sharp turn, you don't freak the fuck out and smash into the walls and cause a 50-car pileup trying to make that turn at breakneck speed. It's one of the things that really irritates me about the game is that they didn't take that into consideration, and the gunplay is very much the same. The guns are cool, but with the way that the game is kind of janked up right now on PS4 and all these other systems, the smart guns don't really do much to help with that, because sometimes they don't even lock on. I will sit there and spray and pray into a group of guys, and I can't get the bullets to lock on. The bullets literally whiz off into fucking goddamn nowhere. So, yeah, it's not the greatest at times. So I usually resort to sticking with the regular guns, or beating the crap out of things with my fists or weapons. And while I do enjoy the gunplay to a degree, it's not without its problems, like I said. The smart guns are hit or miss. Half the time it's a 50-50 crapshoot of whether the gun's actually going to lock on because of how it's still kind of loading itself. The game is absolutely bugged. And while it is fun, and I don't fault it for, being kind of crap on current gen rather, because I wouldn't qualify it as next gen yet, because the PS5 and Xbox Series X just came out, and frankly, with the way things are, they're hard to get a hold of, at least at current. And, well, I don't fault them for the way that the game is kind of crappier on previous gen consoles, and yes, the PC Master Race crowd can, enjoy it to the full extent all they want. The game needs work. Not just in the way, the game is presented visually, but how a lot of mechanics work. Loading is a huge problem. Not even, load screens, just, you got a new text message while you're driving. Okay, I'll check it. Your control freezes, you can't move, and your car keeps driving straight. You could slow down or accelerate still, but you can't turn, you can't do anything. So I honestly have to sit there, release all control, slow down, tap the brake a few times rather, turn on the message, and if it takes forever to load, I slow my ass down to a stop. Because otherwise I'm going to crash into something and either die, get wanted by the cops, and if I get wanted by the cops while I can't move because the message is loading, I'm going to get shot and die. Not good. I can't really remark on the visual aesthetic because it is jank as shit on the PS4. I've seen it on a high quality PC stream from Maximilian Dude, who, if you don't know who that is, go check him out. He has both YouTube and Twitch, and he does a lot of really good stuff. He's a funny guy, funnier than me, and he has the means to make the game look good on PC. I do not. So the game looks jank as shit. The load times are kind of crap. The gunplay's kind of shit, and driving could be better. But the story, there's the big winner. Is the story worth it? So far, from what I've seen, the story is very much worth it, and the way that they utilize things for the story is very nice. And depending on where your skills are, your stats are leveled to, you can actually utilize these things to find ulterior paths and questions and dialogue trees to actually find a way to maneuver through the story and find interesting ways to approach situations. Honestly, I can't really spoil anything, and there's too much to really go into, because it would make this video last way longer in terms of length. But I feel it is worth a playthrough. It is worth playing through from start to finish. You don't have to play it multiple times or do crazy multiple things, but it is worth a playthrough at least once just to see what the story does, see where the story goes, and your decisions throughout the game can actually have an effect with how you interact with Keanu Reeves' character, Johnny Silverhand, and how much you get done looks like it might also have a effect on things too. One of the things that irked me is how hard it is to get money. I know right now there's apparently a game glitch where you can get money for buku cash real fast for dirt cheap. Here's 4K. Oh, you want to buy this thing back? Here it is. That'll be 5 credits, please. Or 5 eddies. You're literally trading $5 for 4,000. And you just do that back and forth, and you can make infinite money in no time flat. I've tried it. I've earned over 100K just by making 4 or 5 pit stops or some shit. And yeah, it works for now until they get patched out, but it strikes me as just a game that was worked on thoroughly for the story, but everything else was an afterthought. This game is good in terms of story, but everything else about it seems like jank ass. And the body modification, while interesting and unique, it's not what I was hoping for. I'm still experimenting with other body mods. I didn't know there was a projectile arm mod launcher, and I started playing with that. It's kind of fun, but with smart guns, it feels like it's having a 50-50 chance of actually affecting the guys. Even with a direct hit, shooting a grenade up their pingus, it feels like I'm only tickling them or blowing in their ear enough to make them go, oh no, things happened. And the gorilla fists, good for melee and punching the crap out of things, which if you want to go beat the hell out of things melee build, that's probably one way to go. They're not as good as the Mantis Blade and monofilament wire, mono wire as it's called, which I am starting to touch on and still trying to get a feel for properly. Crafting is over my head. I try crafting things, I've tried upgrading things, but I'm is there a difference? I'm not seeing much of a difference. Is this working? I feel like it's working. Is it working? What's going on? And honestly, most of the time, I level crafting by disassembling everything in my inventory in terms of a gun that's not one of the ones I have equipped, or better than what I have equipped, but I can't use it yet. Or it's not one of the ones that's high up there, I just don't have another type of it, like a certain sniper rifle or handgun or something. So I'll just get rid of everything else and disassemble it for parts and scrap. And, well, you could go, well, you're complaining about money, what about that? Well, I would if guns sold for more than maybe 100 eddies sometimes. I'm starting to get to a point where the guns sell for 200, maybe a little more. But guns don't really sell much. I've sold pieces of clothing for thousands of eddies. Money can be definitely gained from selling clothes. That's where the big moneymaker is if you don't do money exploits. That's something I've discovered. And I'm making more money doing that. And yeah, you get money from doing jobs, but I'm having to, like, crank through job after job after job after job just to get, like, 20 thou. Whereas I could sell, like, a couple of hot pants and a bra top, and suddenly I'm swimming in, like, 50k. I'm, like, balanced. And if you do, like, money exploits, you can earn hundreds of thousands of eddies for far less effort and time than doing a side mission. And with no risk. It's nuts. It's nuts. I will say, while the game is definitely in need of some fine-tuning and some fixing up, it's not a bad game. It's not as hype as people, including myself, were hoping it would be. But it's not a bad game. It's middling, maybe a little above average in terms of story. If it wasn't for the story, it would be average. In fact, it might be below average if the story was shit. If the graphics were good, the loading wasn't crap, and the gunplay and driving were better, it would be definitely minimal above average. But until they fix these things or find a way to make it work on past-gen console or current-gen consoles, PS4, and other systems that aren't, like, next-gen, like, cocaine in the eyeballs fucking good, it's gonna be an average game. It's good but not great. The story is great. The game overall, good but not great. There's too much wrong with it right now to really make a claim that it's a great game. And while I don't see it in a negative light, it has aspects I view in a negative light. But I can view any game in a good light that has negative aspects. So yeah, there's plenty of things that they can do to improve the game. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of patches in the future going forward to try and fix some of these issues. We'll wait and see what the future holds for Cyberpunk 2077. My final thoughts, it's an okay game. I give it a banana out of orange. It's, you know, not bad. So, that's my thoughts on Cyberpunk. There's stuff that I've highlighted that could use work, and there's stuff that's really outstanding. Story! But other than that, that's about it. I will see you folks next time, and stay salty, my friends.
Watch out!